And this piggybacks, this rides right into the question that we ask on the show a lot, which is, do you think we're in a simulation?
What difference does it make? Do I think we're in a simulation? Define a simulation. If you really define a simulation, absolutely we're in a simulation, right? So none of what you see is actually what you see. None of what you touch is actually what you touch. We don't touch anything. Do you realize that? You've never touched anything in your life. The molecular forces, how can you touch when really the mass in this skin, I'm sure you understand that, huh? So the entire mass in your body is probably a pin size, and the rest is space. The rest is electrons, orbiting the nuclei at a very large distance. And the reason why you can touch is because there is, force here and force there, and they just cannot interact, right? If I really look at you, it's actually quite interesting, huh?
I see you inside of myself.
Absolutely. So the reality is, you're not here. You're mostly empty space, but the photons hitting your head are just slightly smaller than the distances, slightly bigger, so they reflect, right? So they reflect to my eye, they trigger an electrical signal that gets translated into my brain as, a wonderful, elegant shirt, right? But is that really a shirt? Is that really something? Does a cat see it the same way? Will the artificially intelligent machines see it the same way? Of course not. And so the reality is that this entire world we live in is just an electrical signal in your brain, which is not very different from Halo.
Yeah.
Just saying, right? But it doesn't have to be a video game. It doesn't have to be a simulation. It just operates suspiciously similar to a video game.
That there is some grand designer of the game, and that there is maybe multiple grand designers. Maybe you do have a controller, and when you go through the portal of death, then you jump into controlling another avatar. And how many of your memories you remember from your previous avatars, who knows? It's exciting stuff, Mo. One last question is, what do you think is the most beautiful thing in the world?
What's the only thing in the world? The truth. I think the most beautiful thing in the world is the truth. And I tend to believe that we're all here in a quest that's never going to be fulfilled to constantly seek what that is, which is a quest that starts with finding out what's not true. Because in reality, the only method you can ever get to something that's remotely simulates the truth or represents the truth is to at least find out what isn't. Okay? And my entire work, as a matter of fact, even half of what I'm working on now, is an attempt to show you how much of an illusion we live in and believe to be true. And if you just strip the illusions one by one, what's left behind is the truth. So it's a quest that will take the rest of my life, and I can guarantee you I'm never going to find it. But it's so interesting to just find out what isn't, one by one.
And when we truly know the extent of our ignorance, it's easier to find out what's not the truth.
Yeah, we're pretty ignorant. We know nothing at all.
We know nothing at all. It's true. And we'll help you here. We will help you get to 1 billion happy, and from there, it'll be easier to train the artificial general intelligence.
I hope so, yeah. You guys promised, so.
You promised.
Yeah.
We promised.